And we are back after about, I would say, a minute and a half after ending my last video. And I felt myself trying to think of something to say, of course. And then I was able to recognize that for what it was. It's like I wanted to control how this video went. I wanted to have something in place already to speak about. And I was able to recognize that none of this even matters. None of it. None of it matters. In the sense that all of these things are complete non-factors. Just hit that record button. It's this whole new way. I don't need to think of something to say. I don't need to control how this is going to go. It's going to go how it's going to go. And even if it goes a way that I feel is less than, based on what I've done in the past, I know that I'm going to turn it into something extremely valuable. I love this. In my last video, there were some moments where I was like judging how the video was going, what I was speaking about, and the level at which I was speaking about it. And it was all a response to putting the viewer first. No offense. And, well, I shouldn't even need to say that. Yeah, no, there's no need to even say that. But, yeah, I was able to recognize this is the old way. And I have these moments where, in recognizing that this is the old way, in perceiving the reality of the new way, I experience this sense of total freedom. In recognizing that I just hit the record button, there's so much I can let go of. And as I've spoken about before, I've done this so many times now. And my confidence in just hitting that record button is very high. It's very high. And it's this faith in myself. It's completely surrendering. And it's amazing. It's amazing. I can just be patient and let this channel develop naturally by surrendering and just being myself. Not in the sense that I'm going to come here and be authentic. I am, but what I'm speaking of is be myself in the sense of allowing myself to be exactly where I am, allowing myself to create and put out the videos that I create because of where I am when I'm creating them. It's like, I am perceiving a lot in this moment. And finding meaning in what I'm perceiving, but it's kind of I don't know if I'll be able to articulate it. We've been here before. Many a time. And we've been here before. Many a time. And now I'm perceiving something else. It's this sense of freedom. It's like I perceived something meaningful and was thinking about how to put it into words and trying to sort of grasp onto it in a sense because it was a mixture of emotion and thought. And as I was doing that, trying to grasp onto it and find a way to put it into words, I found that I couldn't. And in the past, that would have been something extremely uncomfortable for me. I would have ended the video. But instead, I didn't. Instead, I moved to a place of sitting in silence, which, once again, would have been something extremely uncomfortable for me. I would have judged how this went. I would have ended the video. But I didn't. It's another example of rising above the experience. And maybe that's something I could speak about in this moment. That's something I've been wanting to speak about. It goes into the nature of my mind. Because when I use the term rising above it, I'm speaking literally. It's like the way my mind works is very spatial. It's like my experiences and my perceptions are put into these frameworks of understanding that are logical, that I can see inside of myself. And over the past year, so much of the frameworks, because I've built many a framework in the past, and they've evolved and changed and joined together and sort of got left behind because they were no longer needed. But a huge theme of my frameworks over the past year has been raising the perspective and the nature of what that does. I've spoken about being trapped within an experience, contending with it, and rising above it and gaining freedom from it and seeing it for what it truly is, no longer contending with it, contending with all the details, because you can see it for what it is and you're no longer controlled by it. That's something I've spoken about before, and it's a framework that I've created. It's something I can see in my mind. And as I've said, can I think of an example? I can think of an example. It's like the idea of sitting here trying to think of something to say. It's like this is an experience I'm having, and I'm trying to think of what to say, and it's sort of controlling me, it's controlling what's possible, and I need to satisfy it by thinking of something to say and how to say it. I'm trapped within it. I'm contending with what it's wanting me to be contending with. I can't see it for what it truly is, but there comes a point where I am able to rise above it and see it for what it is and understand it. And in doing so, it creates this possibility of freedom from that experience and speaking about it. I love that I was able to come up with an example, because that's a good example. It's a framework that applies to endless examples too, at many levels, from micro to macro. Interesting. I didn't expect to get into something like this. And all of this after having that initial feeling of making the same video again. It's like I just proved my past wrong. I just showed my past how things go. I just showed the old, the new. I just rewired myself to where I am and where I am going in a way that is healthy and amazing. I didn't resist, I didn't judge where I was. Even if I judged, I didn't judge that I was judging. I love how this video went. Where are we even at? 13:30. Let's end this here.